Hey everybody, we are live. Welcome to another edition of Boston Straight Shooters. I'm one of the hosts, Steve, aka Negative Ned. Uh, Frank should be joining momentarily. Uh, so in the meantime, while we wait for him to join, we're gonna kick things off. We're gonna start with the Red Sox and their continued struggles at home. In the meantime, bear with me while I post the link. Uh, here's Frank. Hang 1 second. All right, Frank. Look at
How are we
this.
doing? How are we
I
doing,
think
Steve?
I'm doing good, Frank. How you doing?
I'm all right. We're gonna make sure we gonna keep this show on the road. Nothing stopping us. We gotta do
This,
this.
this is our first call in from the road in Straight Shooters history. So
Yeah.
this is pretty neat.
I'm sorry, I'm not dark, and I can't cut my light on because obviously I'm driving. So
But we
yeah,
can
but
hear you. That's what's important. So don't worry.
the most important part is that I got out of the Usher traffic. You know what I mean? The traffic was.
I don't envy anybody that has to go deal with any of that traffic, especially when the Red Sox or the Bruins or Celtics are playing at the same time. Forget it.
Right.
That's a game over for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. It's horrible, But dealing with Red Sox traffic, dealing with Usher traffic, just dealing with traffic alone is bad. No matter how you shape it, you know what I mean? But anyway, how you been? How you been? How's everything?
I'm good. I'm doing good. How you doing?
You know my situation right now. So, but I'm anxious to get this show on the road because there's a lot of stuff we got to talk about. You know what I mean? And so, what's the first topic you want to talk about, Steve? You want to talk about the Red Sox? You want to talk about the Patriots? Because I usually steer the ship. But do you want to talk about the Celtics?
I want to talk about the Red Sox first, and save the Patriots in case other people want to jump in.
Okay, okay, all right. I've been looking at the Red Sox the last couple of games, and I think I'm the. Before you even jump into it, I think I'm the bad luck guy because every game I watched recently, the last couple of games, they lost. The one game I decide I'm not watching, they win the game. You know what I mean? So I don't know, Steve. I'm losing all of my hope for the Red Sox. I got to say, out the gate, I'm losing all my hope for the Red Sox. But let's jump into it. So if you guys have been paying attention to the Red Sox, like right now, how Steve and I have been and everything else, I put a bet in, which we'll talk about later, that I thought over the next 7 days they were going to turn stuff around. Steve, I watched their pitching. It's horrendous. I could pitch better than that. And when I was in high school, I could pitch better than that. This pitching is horrendous. Like I couldn't believe how bad it was. And the worst part is, in some of these games they were winning. Like Steve,
I know
they're winning the games.
that's the
So
most frustrating part. Their bullpen's an absolute disaster.
right. So I don't know. I mean, before I give you your thoughts, let me ask you a question, Steve. Do you think, besides the overall thoughts about the Red Sox. Do you think that the Red Sox are going to cut 80%, 90% of their pitching staff before next season? Because ultimately, I think this season's done. I don't even think they're going to make the wild card. I don't think they're even going to make the playoffs. What's your thoughts?
I don't know if they're going to cut 80% of the pitching staff, but they're going to get. I'll put it this way: if they do, it's going to be 80% of the same Ocean State job lot bums we've been looking at for the last 4 years.
But why? Why
All
is
right,
that?
so if you heard Alex Cora at the beginning of the year in spring training, he said we need guys to have options to go back and forth to Worcester because that's the way the league is. Now they're the only team that I'm aware of because I don't follow all the transactions, but I haven't seen anybody have the issues that they've had where they have to bring a guy up and drop him back down within days. And
Right.
so if you give me a half a second, I have their pitching roster moves in the last 5 days. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I saw it. Go ahead.
Let's start with James Paxton. He was transferred from the 15-day IL to the 60-day IL with a torn right calf. And Alex Cora said, "You're ready for a laugh, right?" Alex Cora said that he could potentially return during the ALCS if they make it that far. So let's have a laugh there, right? Now I have. So this is 823 optioned Greg Wiesel to Worcester. 823 selected contract of Jolie Rodriguez from Worcester. 823 sent Justin Slater on rehab assignment to Portland Sea Dogs. 826 selected contract of Brad Keller from Worcester. 826, recall Bailey Horn from Worcester. 826, recall Justin Slayton from Worcester. 826, designated Jolie Rodriguez for assignment. 827, here's a good one. Selected the contract of Rich Hill from Worcester. Option Josh Winkowski to Worcester. This is all on 827 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Watch this. Selected Rich Hill contract. Option Josh Winkowski to Worcester. Option Bailey Horn to Worcester. Recall Greg Wiesert from Worcester. Place Luis Garcia on the 15-day IL, right elbow inflammation. Place Lucas Sims on 15-day IL, right lat strain. Designated Brad Keller for assignment. Dude, in the last 5 days, if you had to do all that gymnastics, you'd be worn the hell out.
Yeah, you would be. You would be. But it also says to you that the Red Sox did not do their homework at the beginning of the season, diving into the season, saying we need to get some good pitchers. They just decided they would piecemeal it together at the beginning, and it would last them. And then they didn't even put into the equation of, hey, we might have some injuries that we have to deal with some of our guys who are even okay. They didn't even put any of that. So I don't know.
It's not that. They're getting all these Ocean State reclamation guys. That's part of the problem. They're cheap options, and that's the issue.
You get what you pay for, Steve.
Exactly. You get what you pay for. I mean, and you know what the sad part is? Remember in April
what we're already dealing with?
Remember in April how mad I was that they had a lineup in the first or second week of the season with 5 guys hitting the ball $150.
Yeah.
Right? Now the lineup doesn't have one guy hitting under 250. Their whole lineup is scattered with guys hitting 290, 280, right? And now they're getting leads in the games and they can't pitch and win the games. Their lineup actually looks like a legit lineup for a change. And they're hitting the ball, and now the back end of it's falling apart. So the pitching was the strength earlier in the year. The hitting wasn't. They were striking out a lot. Now it's flipped, and now they can't put the two together. And so their wild card chances or playoff chances are pretty much slim and nil. They're done, I think.
Honestly, I'll even raise you one because I read an article. I think it was in Yahoo Sports. Their lineup is. I'm glad you brought this up. Their lineup right now is comparable to the lineup last year that was in the ALCS. Right now, from top to bottom, their lineup is comparable, if not better, than the batting lineup of the one. I forgot which team it was that was in the ALCS. So they were saying, well, if the Red Sox had pitching and their pitching was comparable right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you cut out for a second there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. All right, we lost Frank. All right, I'm not sure which team he was talking about from last year in the ALCS. I would venture it's Houston. So, look, they finally have a legit lineup, and now they don't. Now the pitching is falling apart, and I think we knew this was going to happen because early in the year, this whole thing with the stupid. All right, you back?
Yeah. Sorry. Somebody called me while I was driving, but I was saying that the Red Sox literally have a batting lineup that's comparable. According to the article I read yesterday, their batting lineup is comparable to a team that was in the ALCS last year.
Is it Houston?
Yeah, it might have been Houston. Yeah, matter of fact, I think it was Houston. But my point is that wow, if their pitching was even almost just average, they stood a good chance of getting at least to the ALCS. You know what I mean? Because their bats are hitting. You know, the guys are hitting.
But you realize now the reason the pitching is failing is because that stupid sweeper, off-speed curve, whatever stuff that they were doing early in the year that worked. Now everybody's caught up to it. You have to adjust. You have to change and get these guys to be more aggressive. You can't just keep doing the same thing and be like, okay, we're going to keep doing this. I'm looking at some of the stats for the Red Sox pitchers, right? The batting average against the sweepers is like 306, 288.
Yeah.
They're hammering the crap out of the sweepers. You gotta back off and start letting these guys use their strengths and their talent and stop. They're trying to pitch backwards. That only works if you have a junk arm like Frank Tanana or Rich Hill
or Tim Wakefield.
Well, his arm wasn't junk. It was just that he threw knuckleballs. I mean, I'm talking about guys that don't have 95 mile an hour fastball. These guys have to use kind of like junk to get it over and fool everybody.
I only use Tim Wakefield as when his arm was when Tim Wakefield either he was hitting, he was on point with his pitch or he was completely off. You know what I mean? So when he was off, he was all the way off. You know what I mean? That's the only reason I was saying that. But
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand that.
Yeah.
I just think that the reason the way that they're doing this right now is just it's messed up, and I think you're seeing guys that would have had decent years in years past, and they're falling off a cliff because of this nonsense.
Yeah, and it's really here's the worst part for me is that there's some guys right now who are having career years. There's some rookies right now who are having career years. With this Durant kid right now, the numbers he's putting up right now, he hasn't. Nobody's even put up anything since the same thing he did since 1901. I know you got the stats on him. Like,
I got it right here.
Yeah, this kid is phenomenal. Like since 1901, and the Red Sox not even going to make the playoffs. Like they wouldn't even have. They're not even going to have a chance to highlight his his accomplishments for the season. Like this is ridiculous. Like,
let me give you the numbers.
Yeah, please do.
It says first player in MLB history to record 10 plus triples, 20 plus homers, 30 plus stolen bases, and 40 doubles in a season, and he leads the major leagues in triples with 13, which is tied for the most by a Red Sox since Jim Rice when he had 15 in 1978. So, look, if he gets 3 more triples, he's going to pass Jim Rice for the team record. And the stolen bases, he doesn't have 50 or anything like that, but I would say he's the best leadoff hitter we've seen since Jacoby Ellsbury.
Yeah.
Actually, he's probably a notch better right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could agree with that, but I also could agree with that he might be the best we've ever had. You know what I mean? With the stuff he's doing. So, but yeah, I would agree with the Jacoby Ellsbury because I forgot about Jacoby Ellsbury. He was putting up monster numbers too. You know what I mean?
For a guy I wanted to kick to the curb 2 years ago, he's done a good job this year.
Yeah.
You'll have to excuse me. I'm sweating, even though the air conditioner is on in here. I'm done with this heat. I think it's time for some cooler weather so I can stop this.
Well, it'll be in here sooner. You just keep it up. It'll be here sooner rather than later. You got your heat. I got my. Can you see Stormy in the background?
No.
Yeah.
No, can't see. So we have guests. We have guests along for the ride.
Oh, you
That's
do?
good.
Oh, you mean my guest?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Frank brought guests. Special guests.
I brought a guest that I didn't want to bring, and I had no choice to bring. I did cut the light on here. Let's see. Can you see her now?
That's funny. I saw a head move. I see eyeballs.
Come here.
There we go.
You see her now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's enjoying the ride. Good.
Yeah. Or if I did not, my house would be tore up.
Nice. That's lovely. Well,
but anyway, back to the Red Sox. Before we move on to the next subject, I just want to throw this out there that if the Red Sox are able to make it to the wild card, which I hope they don't, purposely because it helps their standing better on in the playoffs. I mean, in the draft and everything else. I hope they don't make it now. If they happen to do that and everything else, they'll get swept. So I'd rather have them not go there and get swept than, obviously trying to get there and try to pull, some kind of majority win or maybe a major win. But I'm for one who I don't like seeing any of my teams get swept. I don't care if it's the Bruins, the Red Sox, the Patriots. I don't care who it is. I'm not for a sweep. So I'm not even for a gentleman's sweep. I don't even want it. No. So
here's the problem. They're going to have to kill themselves to get the last wildcard spot, which means any of their 5 starters are probably not going to be available for that game. You're going to have Rich Hill or some opener like Bernardino or Winkowski for the start of that game. You're not going to have whoever would be your ace guy. So, even if they do, there's a pretty good chance they'll get killed anyway. So I'm with you. I don't want to see them.
Yeah, I don't either.
Make it at this point.
And the crazy part is there's some people who are looking forward to it. You know what I mean? So I'm not one of them.
If they were playing better and they were closer, I would say, yeah, okay. And they were pitching better. Maybe if they had a legit shot, I would be okay with it. But the way they're playing and the errors they're still making these stupid errors at second base or routine errors that are costing them unearned runs. And that needs to get cleaned up. And it's too late now, I think, to clean it up completely for them to make a run. This definitely has to be a bone of contention for Alex Cora in the offseason. No matter how much you practice, if a guy doesn't have range or skill or can't make a routine ground ball at second base like David Hamilton, for as good as he's been on the base paths. He's a utility guy. He's not a starting second baseman. He makes too many errors for that. So they got to rectify that. And have Story coming back next year. That's fine. Honestly, I would move him to second base and keep Rafael at shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
Kids playing for your best defense is going to be Rafael at shortstop and Story at second and Duran at center field. This is early, so bear with me.
Brent Kev said he just texted me. He said he's waiting to be bled in.
He's not in. He's not in. He's
Okay.
not in there.
Can you resend him the other link?
Yeah, I can try and resend the link. Hang tight for a second.
Yeah. I'm gonna block out the mic while I order my my supper.
Okay, go ahead. Let me see if I can do this again. We'll send this back to Kev.
I think you're reading it. Send him a new link because he probably knowing him. He's in the wrong session.
Well, he got the link the first time because he sent me a thank you. So let's see. All right, and I did post the link in the show. So if he gets stuck, he might be able to go there. Anyway, Frank is. This is a definite first. We got Frank ordering his dinner on the run. While we're going at it here with the Red Sox, just to expound on Frank's point about them making the playoffs. Look, I agree with him. We don't want to see any teams get swept or have a gentleman's sweep or any way you want. There's Kev coming in. There he is. Kev, can you hear?
Yep, I'm here now.
All right, there he is.
Yeah, it said I was backstage. It said only you could see me.
I can see you, but you sound like you're far away.
How we doing?
That's better.
Here we go.
There we go. How you doing? Good?
I'm good. How we doing today?
We're doing good. Frank's on the road. He's ordering his dinner right now, so he's got the mic off. So we're talking about the Red Sox, and we're talking about how bad their pitching has been and how we don't want to see them make the playoffs at this point because they're probably going to get swept. So I know you don't really pay attention to them.
Yeah. Right
A
now,
little.
I do.
they're beating Toronto right now.
Can you see me?
I see you, brother.
Okay, I can't see me up here, but okay.
No, don't turn it, Frank. We can see you.
Oh, okay.
Don't turn it. You're straight on.
Oh, okay. I'll leave it back the way it was.
Yeah, put it the way it was. But we can see you. If Kev looks crooked, I don't know. He looked crooked earlier, but he fixed it. So from my perspective, all three of us are straight on.
Okay. All right. That's good. So where were we at? We were just talking.
We were talking about
them.
them getting swept in the playoffs.
Yeah. So to get Kev up to speed, we were just saying that it'd probably be best for them not to make it to the playoffs because they'll probably get swept. And in order for them to show face and everything else, we don't want them to get swept in the playoffs. Just rather have them lose outright. Steve, how many games back are they right now in the wild card? Are they 4.5? Four.
No,
Okay.
4.
Okay.
Well, they were 5 or 5.5. They gained some ground somehow by winning yesterday. So
Yeah, and because lost. I think it was
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay. Yeah, somebody lost yesterday, so they gained double ground. My thing is this: I think that they should be, like I said earlier. I don't want to keep repeating it. Honestly, I think that they should literally just bow out right now, pull some people, and start focusing on next year. Because Steve, I'm gonna throw this out there to you, Kev. You can chime in too. Next year, I think they're going to be a better team. I'm not sure how much better. I think they're going to be a better team, and they should build on it from there. And I think Alex Cora believes that too, which is the reason why I think he signed that 3-year extension. You know what I mean?
Well, who are you going to pull out? All the guys they have are all young guys. I mean, everybody that they have from Worcester. And if you brought guys from Worcester and sat some of these other guys, they're going to tank worse. I mean, the guys they brought up from AA that are playing in Worcester now that are getting their feet wet, those guys are going to come up in September when they expand the rosters. So.
Right.
I think the thing is, I will say that I like is that there's no quit in them. If you remember last year, they just quit, died, tanked when what's his face Hein Bloom didn't get anything at the deadline. It's different this year. I think that they feel that they have a real shot. So I don't want to see them quit or tank now. Let them get the experience of fighting and learning and trying to get through this, so that next year they'll be better at it. That's my thought.
Well,
tank is if they were already under 500, Frank, and they were like 8 games behind or 10 games behind, I would agree with you. But they're within enough distance that they can keep their head above water. I want to see them be above 500. Let me give you another stat I saw yesterday or the day before. They were 69-32 or something like that. 69. They were sorry. They had 69 wins after 130 games last year. This year they have 67 wins after 130 games. They're 2 games worse this year. So they have to make up ground. And at home, their home record is horrible. They're like 29-34 or something like that. So they would have to go on a run at home in order to make up ground.
Yeah, but they have promised this year. They're a better team this year, even though the record might not say that at this exact moment. They're a better team this year than they were last year. I don't think anybody would say different. Trevor Story's going to come back. Like, look how good they are this year right now without some of the guys. They had some major injuries in key positions. And
2 guys,
yeah. And if those 2 guys were playing, they'd probably be at least 10 games better. You know what I mean? And as we all know, in the AL East, you guys, it's a struggle for a game. One game alone is a struggle. You know what I mean? For and it's so crowded, and that's what I love about the AL East, because you could be separated by half a game, and you could be winning the AL East, and you only win it by a game. You know what I mean? So that's my thought process about that. Kev, what's your thoughts?
Why would you want them to tank though?
I want them to tank. This is the reason why I want them to tank, because if they tank now, they get a better position right now for the draft. Going into the following year, they're not going to win anything this year. They're already a little bit worse. They have tons of injuries. Like it's right now, they're just playing for pride. So I'm in the position right, and I don't usually say tank, but I'm in the position right now, since they're already going to be a better team next year. Continue to tank this year and get somebody better in the draft, maybe a pitcher that can come out who'll be higher, that'll help come in and be more of an impact player for next season. Because like I said, this season's done. No matter what they do, and they're a better team right now than they were last year. That's why I'm saying tank.
Well, I'm with that in mind, I'm concerned about them. If they did tank, that's a bad check mark on Alex Cora. And it seemed to me like they were trying to find a reason to get rid of him. And
yeah, but they're not. They're not. What they're going to do,
I know he signed an extension.
Yeah, he signed an extension. But
I don't want him to be into that kind of.
I get that, but Kev, here's my fear. Because he signed the extension, he's not going anywhere. My fear, and Kev and Steve would tell you, my fear was if Alex Cora didn't sign that extension, come on, he was going to get hired by the Yankees, and with the Yankees lineup and with Alex Cora and the way he thinks, I don't think there's anybody here who wouldn't think that the Yankees are not going to go at least get to the World Series and possibly with him win. You know what I mean? But he's locked in, so he's not going anywhere. So what are they going to do? They're going to say, okay, because he tanked this year. I think they should all have a talk from the GM on down and say, listen, this is what we need to do strategically so we can be better next year. That's all I'm saying.
Let me throw something out real quick. I kind of see where Kevin's going. Alex Cora, because he signed the extension, doesn't have to worry about his value going up or whatever, but it will look better on his record to have this group get over 500. Last year they got 78 wins. This year they have a legit shot to get at least 80, 82, 84 wins. That's better for your organization and better for him. I get what you're saying about bringing up the young guys. Listen, again, they're going to bring up young guys and they're going to sit guys along the way over the last, especially, put it this way, Frank, in the last 2 weeks, if they drop off and they're like 6-7 games out and they know they're out of it, then they'll do what you said. And they'll play more of the, younger kids that they brought up to work. Right, Kev. So Kev, I'm with you. I want to see Alex Cora try to finish strong and get momentum for next year. Not tank just because you're trying to rebuild. And listen, it doesn't really help their draft status because even if they draft in the middle, the baseball picks, you have to pick in the top 10, in my opinion. And listen, they have to get. Listen, with their number 1 pick next year, I don't care what number they're at. They got to get an ace kind of guy for a pitcher. Stop these shortstop, second base nonsense. Get me an ace.
Yeah.
That draft next year in June should be not a catcher or a freaking second baseman or shortstop or whatever. It should be an ace type pitcher. That's what I want to see.
I agree. Yeah. Well, that's my reasoning. That's my reasoning, Steve. They're picking, like, I don't know what number they're picking, but I know it's not the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So if they're like further down the road in the draft, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. He needs to
Well,
finish
you can get
off
wait a minute.
strong.
You can get some jewels. You guys know you can get some jewels further down. Further down. In the first round. You know what I mean? Everybody's
Yes,
talking.
but those kind of guys are not going to be felt for 4 or 5 years. It's not like they're going to get a guy next year in the draft, like in football or basketball, and be like, okay, this guy's going to be an ace starter at 19 years old with the Red Sox next year. That guy's got to develop. So their draft positioning doesn't matter to me next year at all. I don't care about that. I care about the guys that they have. And you know what? Maybe they may have to make another trade like they did with Pittsburgh to get the guy that's supposed to be like one of their top guys and find somebody in the offseason to trade with and get like somebody's like AAA, like 1 or 2 pitcher and trade get some, trade some value somehow to get one of those guys that way. I know they're gonna try to do that, or they're gonna try to look in free agency for another lower option. But right now, just for the rest of this year, you want to teach these guys how to win too. You don't want to teach them how to tank. They had that last year.
Right. How much do we have money to spend?
Next year, well, there's some contracts that will come off the books, and it's all whether John Henry wants to spend the money or not.
Right.
So it's up to him. They desperately need another ace pitcher. They have to get Lucas Giolito's coming back next year from Tommy John surgery. So I wouldn't count him as the ace, although they do stupidness like, Chris Sale's start opening day.
Right.
And then he falls off his bike and he got nothing. Right? So they got to get another guy, and I would pick like Jordan Montgomery, who they tried to get in the offseason, or the guy that's with Texas now, I can't think of his name, drawing a blank, that was with the Red Sox before, Nathan Eovaldi. Right? Get one of those guys back here next year. Pay them $25 million, eat it, and build that way. Realize too, you got money coming off the books. You got big money coming off. Kenley Jansen, $16 million. That he's not going to be re-signed. So that money's going to be free. You're going to need a closer. You're going to need more back end bullpen help. The guys they have, they don't have depth there. So I see them doing something there. I mean, and the closer by committee, if they do that next year, I'll put it this way, even if they sign one of the pitchers I just mentioned, if they don't fix the bullpen and get a closer, and they do the closer by committee crap, they're done right out of the gate.
Yeah.
April is done.
Right.
They can't build the team stupidly.
Right.
I agree.
That's my rant on them as far as like next year and whatnot. I'm watching the clock here, so Frank, if you want to move on, we can. Unless I have some last minute thoughts on them.
Give your last minute thoughts, and I'll come in.
I'm done. Kev, you got anything?
I like your take on it, Steve. Sorry, Frankie, but if we, like I said, the standing where we're at for drafting, I say we go out with a bang. Let Alex Cora, keep building them up, and even the younger guys, let them get some playing time. Get these guys some confidence and build them up a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So, let's move on, because ultimately, looking at the clock right now and everything else, the biggest topic of today, right now, I think hands on has got to be, especially when I listen to sports radio. I turned the sports radio on and off. I'm gonna be honest. I turned it on and off today about 15 times, and the way they were talking about the cuts down, and the way they were talking about who was going to start for QB, that's the main topic. Before I jump into the, asking either one of you guys who you guys want the QB to start and when, I'm gonna throw this out there and see. Did you guys see who got cut? Did you look at the cut list? I don't know if you guys did.
I did.
I don't know who got cut.
I did.
Okay. All right. But I'll throw this out there and say the biggest surprise to me that I think I almost called the Patriots up myself was they cut their running back Harris, the guy who scored a touchdown.
Kevin Harris?
Yeah, they cut Harris. That same look, they cut him, and I couldn't believe that they cut him, because to me, but again, they see stuff in practice that we don't see. You know what I mean? They see, that was my surprise shot before I even dive into the cuts and everything else. Kev, you didn't see it. I'm asking you, Steve, was there a surprise cut, or was there a surprise anything that you see when they cut it down to 53-man roster yesterday afternoon, or today, or was it
That guy
today?
would be the surprise cut because
Right.
he was here, and I did listen to the sports radio stuff yesterday when he got cut. Apparently, Jermichael Hasty is more of the third down shifty kind of guy that they need, and Harris is more like Stevenson. And so that comparison, so like you said, in practice, even in the game, if he scored a touchdown, in the practices and whatnot, they're looking at, okay, this guy fits more what we need. Remember last year, didn't have a third down back.
Mm-hmm.
The guy they got, Gibson, he's kind of like that too. Gibson, to me, reminds me of Pollard from Dallas. He's the change of pace guy. You got the thumper in Stevenson, you got the change of pace guy, and Hasty's the third down guy. And so that balances everything out for them. So, right. But again, that's a depth issue. So I think that because they had to keep 7 wide receivers, they had to lose one of the running backs.
You know what else it tells me? You know what it tells me too? It tells me what Alex Van Pelt is going to probably be calling more so anything else. He's going to probably call a lot of passes. Whether it's second or third down, where the running back has to catch the ball, it won't be a straight handoff. You know what I mean? He really.
Right, that was the Patriots' bread and butter.
Right, but now before anything, they had some running backs that did some both. You know, one thing and some did better than the other thing. Right now, all their running backs do the exact same thing. They all can catch and run out of the backfield, and they all can block. You know what I mean? I think that they
really need that because last year they didn't have anybody catching the ball out of the backfield, and they sorely missed James White and Kevin Falk, like that type of guy. Badly.
Right now they have it. And I really thought Harris was one of those guys too. And I was saying to myself when I saw the cut yesterday, I was like, well, if he's the worst, then maybe we get up from here. But let me throw this out there, and Kevin, I'll throw this out to you, Nat, because you probably weren't paying attention to it as much as everybody else. Just going in right now, let's start off the top right now. Do you want to see, because the talk on sports radio right now is Drake May is played better out of all 3 games of the preseason. He's played better than Jacoby Brissett, and they are having literally a going back and forth of when Drake May should start. Everybody is jumping on Jared Mayo because Jared Mayo said on Sports Talk Radio, he literally said Drake May has outplayed Jacoby Brissett. So all the Sports Talk guys are saying, well, if you're saying that out loud, then Drake May should be the starter. So now they're going back and forth with that. With that being said, Kev, who do you want to start? Who do you want to be the starter?
Jacoby Brissett should start, at least for the first half of the season. Like at least 6 games. Let Drake May. I mean, I'm sure he'll get some playing time, get a couple of snaps, but I like to see Jacoby Brissett for more, at least half of the season, and then bring in Drake May. So it's not all on his shoulders. Because if he starts faltering at the beginning, like as soon as they throw him in there, they're gonna be, oh man, he's a bust. Oh, he's terrible. Let him build up his confidence. Let him get some snaps. Let him start to get comfortable back there before he starts playing. I wouldn't throw him out to the wolves yet.
All right, Steve, here's my question to you. Besides, obviously, you're going to tell me what you think, too. Steve, do you remember a couple of months ago when we were talking about Drake May and Jacoby Brissett? Do you remember what I said about when Drake May is going to come in? Do you remember anything? Do you remember that?
I forget, but I'm sure I could go back and find it.
Okay. You don't have to go back. I said that I would like Drake May to come in middle of the season too, somewhere around there. But I think he's going to come in a lot earlier because I think Jacoby Brissett is going to get injured and he's going to get murdered because of our offensive line. He's going to come in a lot sooner than what anybody wants him to on the staff and everything. I said that several weeks ago, and then when I saw in the preseason game when I saw Brissett get hurt because of how bad the offensive line was, I was like, gee, maybe I should call Steve and say, see what I told you? But I was in the middle of the game.
I told you didn't have to tell me anything. That offensive line couldn't block Pop Warner kids. That was horrible.
It was one of the – listen, for the record, I'm going to say this is the worst offensive line I've ever seen the New England Patriots roll out from the 70s on. I mean, they were bad in the 70s. They were bad in the 80s. But not this bad. I've never seen an offensive line this bad. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. But Steve, knowing what we all know right now, are you for Jacoby or are you for Drake May? Who you want to start?
I'm with you guys. We got to start Jacoby because, look, Drake May is going to get – he needs more practice. He needs more time to learn behind percent for however many games he's in there. If he gets hurt in week 1 or week 8, whatever it is, you can't throw him to the wolves with that offensive line. I said it last week, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
If he had a better offensive line and if he had Trent Brown at left tackle, Captain Turnstile, even if he had him there, I would feel better about it. But they don't have offensive line is putrid. So that has to get rectified somehow. The only thing I will say is if you watch Drake May in that game, at least he has the escapability factor. So the line doesn't. So all the talk last year was Mac Jones has to have everything perfect around him. You know, they have to block perfect or he can't do anything. Drake May doesn't have to have it perfect, but he has to have guys that can at least make some blocks without getting them killed. I mean, that one play when Jacoby Brissett went to go hand the ball off, and the dude pushed the center out of the way backwards. The guy was like, and was in on the guy with the ball before he even got it. I'm like, this is brutal. No.
Yeah.
And, you know, they have to protect Drake May for now. You have to have – listen, you brought Brissett in here for a reason.
Right.
He's the experienced guy. Let him go out there. They gotta get some continuity on the offensive line. None of them have played together more than I don't know how long, right? They keep shuffling the deck. They have to. This guy's hurt. Sidney So messed up his ankle. That's a bad loss for their offensive line. They're mixed matching still some guys. So see what they can do. I mean, they picked up some guys today, and I'm getting ahead a little bit, but. Long story short, to answer your question, Jacoby needs to start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you imagine throwing Drake out there right now? He gets hurt or he's getting shook up by that line.
Bear with me 1 second.
Not protecting him. It'd be bad. It'd just make him look bad. It'd make the rest of the team look. No. He needs to sit, protect him, so that way, you know, he's seeing some things, he's learning some things, and he doesn't get hurt. Jacoby Brissett doing this, like playing right now, if he were to get hurt, it would be like, damn, that's messed up. But at least we have Drake.
Well, for the record, I'm gonna throw this out there. I don't even think the Patriots are gonna win 3 games. I think they're gonna be worse. But if they're able to, it all jumps in the beginning. Like we have to, like I want to see what they're playing because what they get from the waiver wire, and I think they're focusing so much on the waiver wire right now because they have to. Excuse me, I think they're doing that. I want to see what they look like and what they put out there. But if they don't get it together immediately, I don't see them winning. I don't even see them winning 2 games. Like also, we need to throw that out there too. The Patriots. This is the first time in the history of the New England Patriots since the time they were called, where they're not even favored to win 1 game. The first time, and that's because all the experts, even the so-called experts, are looking at their offensive line. They're playing terrible football right now, but they're still being able to come out of this. You know what I mean? You agree or disagree?
Disagree. So listen, we know the offensive line is a mess, but they showed some flashes. They made some plays. Drake May made a few plays. So they have potential. And look, they're playing tough teams early. So the first month, the first 5 or 6 games are going to look ugly. But then there's going to be some potential. The defense hopefully will be able to keep them in games like they did last year. And so maybe in the second half of the year, they'll win more than 2 games or whatever.
No.
But, people have to realize what a rebuild is. I've been saying this since the very beginning when Frank himself said that they were going to win 10, 11 games early in April or whatever. Now he realizes that, they're so bad that it's not his fault he said that because, look, we all want to win 10 games, but they're just not there. Maintained since the beginning. You're building a foundation. That's where it starts.
But
I thought they were going to get 6 wins, and it's not looking too good right now.
But hold on. But please note, when I said that at the time, the Patriots' offensive line was better then than they are now. So please remember that too. Please note that. Put that notation in there. They were better than they are now. Right now,
duly noted.
With the injuries they have right now, And then when City So getting hurt in their last preseason game, and then you got guys who are getting cut and everything else, they look horrible. Now I got an ambulance behind me. Everything's going on. Everything that can happen is happening.
We thought the fuzz was coming after Frank.
Wow,
for a bad podcast take.
I wouldn't be able to help you out.
You're under arrest.
That'd be hilarious, right?
I'd say, put him on the screen. Let me talk to him.
Boy, so my face could all be pushed up to the glass like this. You're not embarrassing me on national TV. And not me doing all the fish lips too. No.
Listen, we went from Boston Straight Shooters to Cops Live.
Yeah. Oh my God! You should see what it looks like. It was an accident.
Uh-oh.
Major car accident. Yeah. Well, Cops Live. This is it right here. I can show it to you.
Wow. On the site, on the street.
I can't sing, but bad boys. What you gonna do?
I love the realism. Wow.
This is our best show yet, Steve.
Wow. We're bringing you live right here. All the actions right now.
All the actions right there. Stay tuned.
Yeah, between that and the dog in the back seat, this is the show to remember. All right, so let me ask you guys this. Let's go back to the Patriots. Let me ask you guys this. All right, now that we all know that the Patriots are going to, do you think that they're going to get a surprise win or two, coming into the season? Because I've always said to my friends, Kevin will tell you this, if they're going to get anybody, they're going to get somebody in the beginning of the season while you're still trying to figure everything out. You know what I mean? I think that could be the surprise. But so I'm going to say, if they get a win early on, I think it'd be game one against Cincinnati Bengals. I think it'd be game one because Cincinnati Bengals, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention in the preseason, they look terrible. I mean, they look horrible in preseason. Now, I'm not sure if that's because of coaching, because of players. They have disgruntled players, contract issues with wide receivers. I don't know what's going on, but
Chase, is he still out? Chase, Jamar Chase, not car chase against Frank. Jamar Chase.
Yeah, he's out.
Jamar Chase, is he holding out still?
Yeah, yeah.
That's why they look the way they do it. I thought he was having a contract dispute.
Okay.
He's holding. He's a hold-in, right? One of those new
but he was hurt. He was good,
but still, either way, they don't have him. So that's part of the reason about the way they probably look like crap. I mean, you're missing one guy. It's the same thing Dallas had before CeeDee Lamb just signed for, $140 million or whatever.
Yeah, but I'll even throw this out there too. I think what the Patriots are doing early on can have a ripple effect, because if the Jets come out and do as good as I think they're going to do right now, I mean, honestly, I think the Jets are going to the Super Bowl. I've been saying it for a couple of weeks. Wow. Yeah, I think so.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why. Even though you guys are laughing, I'm gonna tell you why. The Jets still have that same defense that they've had from the last couple of years. They didn't lose anybody. We all know they added Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is the guy. They've got Sauce Gardner, one of the best cornerbacks in the league. They're going to trade for Devontae Adams. I'm throwing that out there right now. They're going to trade for him. They're going to get him because they've already been in talks with him. So now you're looking at Aaron Rodgers. You're going to have Devontae Adams. They already have a great tight end. They've got that rookie. Well, he was a rookie. That wide receiver who is really good. Their defense is phenomenal. And they don't have that hard of a schedule like the way we do. You know what I mean? Their schedule's not that hard. It's not, and with Aaron Rodgers trying to prove something, yeah, I could see them going to the Super Bowl. I didn't say they're going to win. I can see them going to the Super Bowl, though. I can see it. Definitely the AFC Championship game. And not to mention, you got Kansas City is going to have some issues because they're going to have injuries because they're not going to they're not going to do a three-peat. That's not going to happen. Buffalo's getting worse, right out the gate. Buffalo's not going to be where they were. They had a lot of people leave the team. Kansas City has injuries. You got the only team that I'd be scared of coming out of the AFC right now, if I had to pick anybody besides the Jets, it'd be the Baltimore Ravens. You know what I mean? And
That's
the Bengals. Baltimore Ravens look like they got better on paper, but can Lamar Chase get them over the hump? You know what I mean? There's going to be a surprise team. So there's going to be a surprise team or two.
Well, Look, I agree with you. I think
And my
Baltimore.
surprise team is the Jets. I'm throwing it out there right now.
All right, hey, that's okay. Everybody has one of them. I haven't dug in that far to see who would be a surprise team on my end, but I will agree with you. They should be better than Buffalo. I think Buffalo's lost too many pieces around Josh Allen and on the defensive side of the ball. They've lost a ton of players. I think they're going to finish third, and I would not be surprised to see Miami first, Jets second, or flip them. I think they're that close. Patriots obviously basement, and again, you're gonna have Chiefs, Baltimore. Those teams are the top two teams in my opinion. If Cincinnati gets everybody back and can get right, so to speak, they'll be in the mix too because they're too good not to.
Well, I'm throwing it out there right now. I'm throwing it right out there right now. My number one surprise team is the Jets. My second surprise team, because if you guys know this, there's always two surprises.
I would say the Chargers would be mine.
Mine is going to be the Denver Broncos because this Bo Nix kid is supposed to be lighting it up in preseason right now. So those are my two. You know what I mean? It's definitely not Pittsburgh, even though everybody's thinking Pittsburgh is going to do something. Pittsburgh isn't going to do anything.
Nope.
No.
We're going to have quarterback issues.
All right, so let me jump in for half a second, Frank. Let's talk about the cuts, more of the cuts. Bailey Zappi got cut, which is not a surprise. He went to the Chiefs, right? So good for him. But I want to talk about the guys the Patriots picked up on waivers today. Two of them are offensive linemen. One of them is a linebacker, and one of them is a defensive tackle. I'll start with the defensive tackle first. I want to say he's a temporary replacement for Christian Barmore because they're going to need somebody to help stop the run.
Why temporary?
I say temporary because because he was a fifth-round pick from the Colts last year. He couldn't make the roster with the four tackles they had. And they need a guy. They need a guy in the middle. That they need a defensive tackle. I mean, the Patriots are a little bit short there. But if you got Christian Barmore back, I mean, if he's not playing out of this world, you would drop him or cut him or put him on the practice squad or whatever. So that's why I say he's kind of a temporary fix. I'm going to jump over to linebacker Curtis Jacobs. He was on the Chiefs. He was undrafted in April as a free agent. He's from Penn State. He had 337 snaps on special teams over the last 3 years. And as a starter, he had 45 tackles, 7 for loss, 2.5 sacks on average the last 3 years. They're going to, looks like we lost Frank. They're going to need a little bit of depth. And so maybe they're looking at him as a special teams guy for depth there. And then I want to talk about go ahead.
Didn't they get a big guy from the UFL? Like for Barmore? I mean, to help out in that Barmore?
They might have, and I don't have his name in front of me. I don't have the final roster in front of me. But I can find that.
They got some big guy.
Yeah, they might have. They look, the UFL guys are going to start getting more. They're going to start getting drafted more because that league is not. It's not the XFL where Vince McMahon was Mickey Mouse and everything over there. These guys, it's actually trying to turn into a legit, kind of like the old USFL when you had, Jim Kelly was over there and Steve Young and Doug Flutie and Herschel Walker like that. The level of talent is better now in that league than it was before. So you're going to have a smattering of those guys getting plucked where they weren't before. The guy had this jersey. He hate me. I mean, that it's cool as a joke, but, if the guy can't play, he's not going to get picked. But they did get 2 offensive linemen today. They got a guy from Denver. He's 6'6", 315 pounds. He was undrafted last year. He had a solid summer in training camp and preseason. And he made the case for a roster spot as a swing tackle. So he has, he can provide depth on hopefully both sides of the line either way. And they were hoping to slip him through to the practice squad. So that just shows you that he was right there on the bubble of making the team, and they did want to keep him. So I'm glad that they got somebody, young guy. I mean, he's only 24 years old or whatever he is. So they definitely need to do something different. And he's got to be better than the guys they had out there the other day. That was just an abomination. Then they got another guy from the Rams. He filled in at guard in the preseason due to injury. This is his third year with them. In the preseason this year, he did not allow a single pressure on his 57 snaps. So that's a good sign as a guard. So maybe you can get some depth there, and they got a guy that can play guard and a guy that can play tackle, and hopefully bolster what they have. Again, I'm not saying they're going to be the perfect fix, but maybe they're better than what they have on the roster right now. And you can demote those guys, put these guys in, and let these other guys learn and develop that have been getting smoked.
Maybe the Patriots will get more than 2 wins.
Well, everything starts up front, right, Kev? I mean, we've been watching football for 50 years now. Every game I watch is the games won and lost in the trenches. And the Patriots have a Pop Warner football line in the trenches right now. You got how many false stop penalties did they have? How many penalties did they have for lining up too far back? 4 of them? The same guy? I mean, that's horrible. I mean, you know, you gotta be able to do a better job than that. So that's probably
who's this on?
Who's the what?
Be on Mayo, or is that on?
It's on the coaching staff. It's on the offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach to get these guys to sit right where they're supposed to and get them to block properly. I mean, ultimately, yes, overall, it's Gerard Mayo, but you have other guys coaching these guys. That's why they're there. He can't coach everybody. So they have to do a better job of telling these guys, hey, you know, your technique is off, or you're too far back a little bit. Oh, there's Frank. Oh, look, that's why we lost him.
Yeah, I had to.
Police?
He escaped.
I was going to say. Thought it was the ambulance and police or something.
He was on the run. He's not on the run anymore.
So I'm not gonna. I'm gonna live these jokes up, but I'm not gonna live these jokes down.
Sorry, Frank. I couldn't resist.
Okay, all right. I like everybody had, ha ha.
We didn't know what happened to you. We didn't know what happened, right?
It's okay. Ha ha.
We were concerned.
So in your concern, you decided to say he got arrested. He got his face all cut up to go after.
I just said, what was it? The cops, the ambulance? What was it?
He drove off with the fast food. Didn't pay for it.
Unfortunately, you got to pay first. So
I'm kidding.
So
we're talking about right now. We're talking about the guys that they picked up today on the waiver wire. I don't know if you know who they got, Frank. I give you, if you already do, I'll just tell you where we left off. We're talking about the 2 offensive line guys they got. One of them is a swing tackle from Denver. He was on the bubble of making the roster. They were trying to slip him through to waivers so they could put him on the practice squad, and the Patriots scooped him up. He is the 3-year guy? No, he was there last year. The other guy is from the Rams. He played guard due to injury. There was a stop was injured, and that guy I just said had not a single pressure allowed on his 57 snaps in the preseason.
The Rams pickup is a good pickup. The other pickup is not a great pickup. I personally was hoping they would get somebody from Philadelphia, because Philadelphia has an overabundance of offensive linemen. They have too many. Even their practice squad guys for the last couple of years have been very, very good and could have started other places. And I wanted to see if they could get somebody from the Kansas City Chiefs, because the Kansas City Chiefs have the same thing too. Excuse me, they got an overabundance of great offensive linemen. But the Chargers also do, and the Broncos do too. So word is on the streets too that I read. I forgot where I read it today. The Steelers got a couple of great guys too. So the Patriots, they're batting 500 with what they picked up. But again, as we all know, and I'm sure you know, since we all follow football, it's not just what they do today; it's what they're going to do between now and obviously the beginning of the season. Between the guys they're going to pick up, because people are going to get cut, people are going to get fall through the just all kinds of different.
There's still going to be a lot of shuffling going on.
Yeah, a lot of shuffling. Some guys are going to come into some teams not fit, and they're going to have to cut them. There's a lot between. And unlike every other year before, we have 2 weeks before the start of the season. Normally, we have a preseason, it ends, and the following week we go straight to the beginning of the season. But this year is the first time in all of NFL that we got a 2-week break between. So now you're not going to see literally any football this upcoming week, but football starts next week, which I think can benefit the Patriots, because now they can sit there and decide and pick and choose through the scraps and say who they want to pick and who they. And right now, as we're sitting there saying, like Steve read the stats, because I knew he would while I was gone, is that right now we're batting, we're 500 with what only got, in my opinion. Obviously, we got to see how these guys fit too.
but that's what I just wanted to throw out there. I think it's it could be a great pickup, and then maybe they might pick up somebody who might fit better in our system. That's going to be more running. That would go towards more of the strength of somebody who they didn't have. I don't know. What's your thoughts, guys?
Okay.
A thought is that, going back to what you just said, and going back to what we were talking about earlier, where, do we think that they're going to surprise anybody with maybe an extra win or anything like that? I think that they are going to surprise some people. People are probably going to be looking past the Patriots like, they suck this year. They're not an issue. And I think that they could get caught out there. Jacoby's still nice. It's just that he's not the guy. He's not the one. But he's a good player. He's a good QB. And I think that provided that these new pickups, kind of pan out well, that at least they're stopping up some of those holes that we had. I think that they could surprise some people. They can surprise maybe a couple of teams, and we'll eke out maybe 3 or 4 wins.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be we're just going to get blanked or get 1 win for the season and that's it. I think we're going to be able to do a little bit more, but we're going to know what the glaring holes are in order to progress.
Yeah, Steve, I think the 2 weeks. I think the 2-week window benefits the Patriots more than most teams. I think let me say this correctly. I think the 2-win window literally benefits most teams that aren't that good. You know what I mean? And they know they aren't that good. Like the Patriots know they aren't that good. Who else knows that they're not that good? Carolina. They know.
Chicago.
No, Chicago's going to be really, really good. Chicago's going to be really good. Chicago's going to be a 10-win team. Really? Yeah, Chicago. Yeah, Kev, you haven't been watching Hard Knocks like I have been. Chicago added 3 wide receivers, known wide receivers. They drafted a great wide receiver too. They've got the guys. Everybody on the Chicago right now. They even got a fullback. And then of course they got Cam. What's his name? What's this guy's name? The number 1 pick in the draft. Caleb Williams. They got Caleb Williams, and in the preseason games, he's been lighting it up. He's running around literally like the kid from I can't think of nobody's name.
CJ Stroud.
He's actually looking more like the Kansas City Chiefs QB than anybody. Than anybody I've seen.
Mahomes?
Yeah, he's looking like Patrick Mahomes. Here's the thing. I watched the game on NFL Network the other night, the game that he actually played in the first half when they were starters versus starters, the Chicago Bears. And I was like, these Bears are going to be really, really good. Their offensive line is really good. They're giving them time. You got wide receivers. You got 3 great wide receivers on the outside. And they're literally playing the West Coast offense where they're going to be throwing the ball down the field. So, and they got 3 wide receivers who all averaged, 1,000-yard seasons. You know what I mean? They got Keenan Allen, you know what I mean, with Caleb Williams. So that alone is going to open up other windows because everybody's going to be trying to double team him. You know what I mean? So, and then they even got a great tight end. So, no, Chicago's not going to be a sucky team. So I'm going to take them out there. Again, you know how NFL is. Every year you get a surprise or 2 who's going to be good, and you get a surprise or 2 who's like, wow, why'd they suck so bad? Weren't they good last year? You know what I mean? And Chicago's going to be one of those teams you're going to see, oh, my God, they got really good really quickly. And I would throw it out there and say, my team is going to be really bad that nobody's going to see coming how bad they are. It's going to literally be the Buffalo Bills. I got Buffalo Bills for the AFC East saying, oh, my God, and Minnesota Vikings and the NFC saying how bad they got, because Minnesota Vikings was literally about to be in the NFC Championship game, 2 years ago? I don't even think they're going to be a 6-win team. So
Minnesota, they're going to struggle. They lost their starting quarterback. They had the kid they drafted for the season.
Yeah. They lost their starting offensive tackle. They lost a couple of wide receivers. They're having issues behind the scenes. I don't know. So anyway, since time is moving and we're behind, we're very much behind. Steve, let's jump into what do we do all the way to the poll questions.
Wait a second. Can I have a Bruins minute for half a second? Let me just ask you a question about something I heard. Now, this is a rumor, and I don't know how true it is because of the source. There's a rumor out there that Jeremy Swayman wants $10 million a year.
That rumor is true.
Well, I don't think it's true.
It is.
All right. You know something I don't.
Yeah,
but
I do.
If he does, okay, he's got no chance of signing because they only have $8.6 million in cap space. So if he's that stupid I would trade him right now for a bag of pucks and send him on his way. Bye. See you later.
Steve,
I'm done with these. I'm done with these guys, and I'll save the rest of it for negative Ned rant. Okay, if it's true.
Steve, slow down. Steve always does this. For you guys sitting at home, Steve always goes off the negative Ned rant. He gets mad. He doesn't sit there and think for a hot second that all we're saying is this is what he wants. It's negotiating right now. He's gonna want this. They're gonna probably settle him at between 5 and 7, and everybody's gonna be happy. And it's not even really him talking. It's his agent talking. You know what I mean? And of course, he's agreeing with his agent because you got Massachusetts is known for the taxes. You got the agency fees. You're gonna have what am I forgetting? Agent, Massachusetts. I'm forgetting another fee, but you got 3 fees coming out.
Matter. The issue
you got 3 fees coming out. He just wants to make sure he walks home with $5 million, which right now he's not doing, and he thinks he's worth $5 to $7 million, which he is. He's worth $5 to $7 million. He is worth that. He's not worth 10, but he's going to ask for more, and then they're going to come down, and he'll be right there on the Bruins next year. Watch. Want to put that on? Want to put that on the? Want to put that on a cheeseburger?
No. I'm angry, Frank. I'm pissed off. You know what?
But you always
this guy
angry.
is mad because they took him to arbitration.
Steve,
right? Now all of a sudden out of nowhere he wants $10 million. How about take a freaking hike, guy?
Your wife must really enjoy being with you because you must be a pistol whip like firecracker all the time. He's mad again. Everybody's pissed off again. Hey, everybody, Steve pissed off again. Oh, shut up. He's always mad. Doesn't come back down to earth. He's always mad. Tell me I'm not lying.
Truth hurts, Frank. Truth hurts. I said the truth hurts.
Yeah, because you're always mad. Like, relax, calm down. It's part of negotiation. I'm not even worried about that. Not worried about that.
All right.
I would bet any amount of money he did that as a negotiated attack, and he ended up being right back with the. And I'll tell you off the air what I know and what I heard, and we'll keep it going. Now jump into the poll question, Steve, because
there was no poll questions. I couldn't think of any, so we have none.
Okay, good. So then let's get into the predictions. I want to get past that part where you say I was wrong. I can't even say the word.
Wrong? Wrong, like the Fonz.
I was
like Fonzie. I was wrong. I'm wrong every week, so that word just comes right out. I don't have to worry about it. Predictions for last week. I said Marcus Jones and Mapu were going to get cut. Wrong.
Yeah.
Par for the course. I did say that the Red Sox would lose more than they win due to
you got that right.
Home record. I did get that right. They were 2-5 last week. Ding, ding, ding. I finally got another one. That's all I had. So we have Frank had no major cuts.
Wrong.
Wrong. Kevin Harris, yeah.
Wrong. Yeah. Right? Major cut. Yeah.
Said that they would lose. They would
win more than they lose.
No, that's later on. Hold on. You said that they were going to lose the next preseason game against Washington. You were right about that. You said that they would win the season opener versus Cincinnati, so that was an early prediction. We'll keep that one around for week 1, 2 weeks from now. Red Sox win more than they lose. Wrong.
Yeah.
Right? That's all for the predictions. Now we have this week's predictions. As usual, I don't have one ready, so you guys go and I'll think of one along the way.
All right, I'm flying by the seat of my pants, but I want to go right there, right now. This week's predictions for, unless you want to go first, Kev. You want to go first?
No, go ahead.
All right, my predictions for this week right now is that the Red Sox are going to probably lose. I think they're going to go 800 in losses. So I think they're going to lose like maybe the next,
That means they have to lose 6 of their next 7 games.
Yeah, and that's what I think they will. I think they'll lose the next 6 out of 7, 7 out of 10. They're going to, like right now, what I saw over the weekend, I just don't see them. So the Red Sox, that's it for my Red Sox prediction. I think that's going to happen. I think because I've been hearing some rumblings and stuff like that in the NBA, I want to throw this out there too. I think there's going to be a huge NBA transaction in the next week or two. I've been hearing some things like that, some great stuff. And honestly, I'll even throw it out there. I think I'm hearing that Kevin Durant's going to get traded. So let's put that out there. And it might be in the next week or two because, NBA training camps and stuff is getting ready to gear up in the next 4 or 5 weeks. So is in hockey. But unlike in hockey, the NBA, people start doing some major deals way before, like right around now, they start doing that. So I think Kevin Durant's going to get traded. That's going to be the big thing. And with the New England Patriots, I think the Patriots are going to try to make another major trade before the week happens, and I think they're going to try to get a wide receiver to help them with Jacoby Ellsbury because for some reason, they still want to try to get a number one wide receiver.
When's he coming back?
Not Ellsbury. I said, yeah.
Brissett.
Brissett, yeah. You got me thinking about Kobe Ellsbury for the Red Sox. I think Brissett is going to, for some reason, they want to get Brissett. Brissett's going to get murdered. Let's just be honest. He's going to get murdered. But the Patriots want to get a number one wideout, and they want to make the fans happy. And for them, making the fans happy is going to be getting a number one wideout when that's not what they need. The Patriots, here's the crazy thing. I'm throwing this out there to you guys too, and I know I'm talking a lot. Here's the crazy thing. If Tom Brady was to walk through those doors right now, Tom Brady of 2007, 2008, Tom Brady right now, and the offensive line was just somewhat okay. Do you guys think that and I know we're running way over time. Do you guys think the Patriots would be fine? Or because I literally think with the wide receivers they have right now, with the kids they have right now, I think they would at least have 10 games. I don't know if they go to the playoffs with Tom Brady walking through the door, but the wide receivers are not the problem. These wide receivers, I've seen them in person. These guys are fast. These guys are good. They're not the problem. And I think, so I say it all to say, the Patriots are going to focus and get a number one wide when I really think that they should be saying, listen, no matter what we do from this point forward, we need to fix the offensive line, get a left tackle, and get some guys in reserves because if the left tackle or the offensive tackle or the center, if David Andrews gets hurt, they're not going to win one game, not one, because they can't even hike the ball.
They can't hike the ball.
They can't even hike the ball.
That was brutal.
If he gets hurt, which the chances are he will get hurt. You know what I mean? Because everybody knows that they have no backup. If he gets hurt, they're really, really screwed. They won't win one game. So I know I went on a rant, but I'm sorry. That's my prediction. You guys got your prediction? Throw it out there.
All right, well,
now everybody's quiet.
Yeah, because you took mine.
What was yours?
You said a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
No, I think that well, it's not even a prediction. I just think that the Patriots are gonna, because they have 2 weeks off, whatever. But I think that they're gonna pick up somebody. I think that like the guys that they picked up today are gonna contribute or help, but they're gonna pick up somebody else, kind of exciting. Because I agree with you at them wanting to please the fans. So I see them picking up somebody exciting, somebody to kind of, if you will, balance off the fact that we don't have a freaking nice O-line, but if we have this, we have some nice weapons. So whether it be a running back, which we don't need, or a wide receiver, cornerback, they're gonna pick up somebody nice. They're gonna spend some money. That's what I say.
But they don't. I heard you saying, but they don't need any. They're going to do
it's
it.
not about spending the money because they're already pretty much done doing that. I'm sorry to cut you off. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to make a Patriots prediction.
Go ahead.
And say that they actually find a way to get a legit left tackle. They're not going to trade for a wide receiver because the wide receivers that you're talking about, them getting talent-wise, aren't going to be available for trade. And they couldn't sign Ayuk, offered him $32 million, didn't want to come here. So they need offensive line help. I say they get a legit tackle somewhere along the line in the next 2 weeks. That's my prediction.
Steve,
we talked about him, Steve. He's a headache. That dude, he came here and disrupted the room.
He's a diva. I don't like the diva receivers, but I would not have been opposed if they could have traded for him because it's what they need, and they're willing to pay.
Steve,
but barring that right now, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off, Steve. I just want to say that you're dead wrong. There are at least five teams in the NFL with 6 teams in the NFL right now that are dealing with wide receivers issues because they want extension on their contracts. It's the worst year ever in the NFL, in the wide receiver market for the NFL guys. Now, especially after the signing of CeeDee Lamb, when CeeDee Lamb got that guaranteed right now, I think he hurt the market worse than it ever has been before. And now, since he did that, it literally going to have a ripple effect to other wide receivers. And the Patriots still have a ton of money. And people who, they're saying, well, if you're willing to offer me this guarantee amount of cash, I'll come play for you in the trade, which is, and again, it works to what the Patriots want to do to help please the fans. That's why I said I'm going out there on the limb. I think the Patriots are going to make a trade for a wide receiver before the beginning of the season. Right now, we got a week and a half before the beginning of the season to help please the fans, because the fans are still screaming, which we don't need. Now, Steve, I'm agreeing with you. We don't need it. I think it's going to happen. I just hope it's not Brandon Ayuk. I hope it's not. If it's going to be anybody, I hope it's Devontae Adams, because he's,
Neither one of those two guys has a shot at coming here, because they're not going to want to come here and lose.
Yeah, neither one of those.
That's $32 million is like at the top of the market, and the guy didn't want to come here. So it's not about the money.
No, it is about the money, because right now they're taking so much money out of the taxes. That's what their problem is. It's about the money. It's not necessarily about. But again, you guys know, I know there's some stuff I know, but again, it's also not about winning either. It's about guaranteed contracts right now. That's what it's about. It's about guaranteed contracts, right? And in the NFL, which I don't even know if people realize, the NFL, out of all the leagues, they're the only league right now where there aren't as many guaranteed contracts and where you can get cut tomorrow no matter who you are. You know what I mean? And if you get cut, what happens to that money? That money is still dead money, and it still goes to you. But the NFL does not have a bunch of players who have that guaranteed, literally that quote in their contract saying, if you get guaranteed money, if you got guaranteed in your contract and you get cut, you're still going to get this cash. There's not a lot of players running around with that. And the Patriots did not offer that to Brandon Ayuk. They did not offer him a guaranteed clause to say, you're going to get this if you come here. And on top of that, there still be taxes that would be coming out. So he was going to make less money. Even though they're paying more, he still could have made less overall. That's why he didn't come here. And I'm telling you something I know for certain. I'm not throwing it out there.
Well, I know that Massachusetts has the extra 4% millionaire tax. But if you average the Massachusetts Massachusetts tax rate and the California tax rate, they're probably pretty much the same, because to California, the tax rate's got to be out of control.
It's less than Massachusetts. I remember I was living in California. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is for certain what it is right now, but I lived there for almost 15 years, and I was paying attention to what the Chargers were doing. I was paying attention to what who else was out there? The Raiders were doing, everything. And a lot of those guys, they weren't complaining about taxes. And then on top of the taxes that's coming out, you got your manager fees, you got your agency fees, you got your business manager fees, you got any other fees, because these guys are all geared for Hollywood. So they're like, okay, well, how much money is coming out of my check before I get it? So that's all the issue. But again, we're getting off the topic and everything else.
All right, one more prediction. Red Sox. I'm going to go opposite you, Frank, this week. I'm going to say they win 5 out of 7.
All right.
Let's see if I can get it right again for them.
Okay. So thank you guys for doing the show. I'm home now. I got to now feed my dog, because my dog was jumping up on the wall. I think maybe because she's mad. She saw me eating, and like, what, you're eating and I'm not eating? What's going on here? Kevin, no, Stormy don't play. Stormy don't play. Actually, this is one of them fun shows. Like, it was like Cops and Boston Straight Shooter at the same time.
Action-packed show.
I tell you, it's best sports show around. I don't care what nobody says. you get arrested. We talk about sports athletes getting arrested and the host getting arrested at the same time.
Quick, bring those French fries back.
It's the only show. All right, so that's it for the show. This is Boston Straight Shooters. This is the show we talk about the Boston Celtics, the Boston Bruins, the Boston Red Sox, the New England Patriots. Next week, we are going to revisit a lot of these conversations, because we're going to be gearing up for the start of the New England Patriots season. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Boston Bruins, because you know what? We're going to have to start focusing on what the Bruins are doing. The Bruins are getting ready to make some moves, too. The Celtics are quietly, doing some things behind the scenes. There's some stuff that we didn't talk about this week with, obviously, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Especially Jason Tatum got a new show on Netflix we can talk about next week, which we'll talk about next week in full length. And, of course, the New England Patriots. We're going to hear between now and time on next week, we're going to hear Drake May. We're going to hear that so many times, Steve. We're going to probably be sick of hearing about Drake May. Like, just, get the kid murdered.
Actually, you know who I'm going to be sick about hearing about is Gerard Mayo. I wish at this point he'd just shut his yap and make the decision to keep quiet and go coach.
Yeah, yeah, because now we know
We went
can
from
talk
Bill
about that.
Belichick saying nothing to like now you can't shut up.
Yeah, yeah. We
Well,
definitely
we
have to
talked
have a
about it,
topic
Frank.
about that. Huh?
We talked about it, Frank. We said that he's gonna give you a problem with his mouth.
Did I not say that? Did I not say that? I said, yeah, he's gonna get in trouble because he's talking too much. But anyway, that's the show, guys. Kev, thanks for joining the show. Steve, thanks for holding
Yeah,
it
thank
down.
you.
Appreciate it. You guys
Thank
say
you.
bye.
All right, hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Kev, thanks for coming on with us.
Got it.
Appreciate all the comments and the posts and votes and whatnot. Again, don't forget we're on YouTube now, and we'll see everybody next week. Thank you.